So welcome into Between the Whistles Detroit. I'm your host Joe Chap, and today I'm going to be talking about the same thing I was talking about in the other video with a snippet of audio from 97 Won the Ticket. Today, in this one, we will be talking about the Jared Goff audio from the Carson Anderson show. Carson Anderson was talking to Jared Goff, and they asked him, "What players do you think on the defensive side of the ball are going to give other offenses problems?" I'm going to play the
On the defensive side of the ball, you practice with these guys every day. Who do you see is going to be a problem for other offenses to go against?
Man, I really like what both corners have been doing, Amani and Okuda. I really felt like I felt like Okuda was having a great camp last year, and then unfortunately, the season got cut short. And Amani obviously had a great year last year, but both of those guys through training camp has been a challenge for us. It's made us better, and it's been fun to see them thrive and to see them continue to get better, and to see Okuda get his confidence back and play the way he's been playing. And then up front, Hutchinson.
So, as you heard in the audio, when Carson Anderson asked Jared Goff that question, he answered with two players in particular. And I think these are very critical players for the Detroit Lions in 2022. One of them was Amani Aware. Obviously, Amani had a great year last year. He was a turnover machine. He got a lot of picks, as you're seeing in these highlights that I'm showing you right now. But the other player is a guy who's often forgot about, and sometimes it's unfair to him because you got to understand when Jeff Okuda came into this team, the Lions, he was coached by an absolute moron in Matt Patricia, and there was absolutely no shot for Jeff Okuda to be a good player under Matt Patricia. I mean, Matt Patricia is a guy who didn't believe in getting pressure on the quarterback. I can't tell you a coach in history that can say, "I don't want to get pressure on the quarterback." Literally stupid. We knew he wasn't a rocket scientist when he said that. Jeff Okuda came into the regime with Dan Campbell. He had injury, the torn Achilles, early in the season, and he hasn't been with the roster. Obviously, he didn't play last year because he was injured. But you're starting to see Jeff Okuda get some confidence. And one of the things we're going to start to see is when we start the season, he's going to get a first. We're going to get a first glimpse at what Jeff Okuda really is. Now, if he's doing a good job, as Jared Goff said in that audio, with the wide receivers on the Lions roster, I'm pretty sure he's going to be doing good with other wide receivers on the other rosters, because DJ Chark is a speedy guy, can run routes really really good, and he is a size disadvantage. Amon St. Brown, very smart wide receiver, knows where to sit to get the ball, and he's just a smart wide receiver, but he can run routes at elite level. And Josh Reynolds, the guy who can stretch the field, he's a bigger target. That's another guy who would be good to see Jeff Okuda guard. Quintus Steve is the same way. But if Jeff Okuda is better in 2022, this opens up so many options for the Detroit Lions moving forward into 2022. I think a lot of people are a little bit gun shy. I think a lot of people are hesitant to give Jeff Okuda a chance. But I'm telling you right now, I've talked to people in the Lions organization. I have talked to people who have said Jeff Okuda is going to be a good player. And I believe them. I do. I know they're not rubbing smoke up my ass. These are the same people who they told me Amon St. Brown was going to be the guy last year at this time. So when they say something, I follow. Now, Jeff Okuda was a number 3 overall draft pick. I'm pretty sure if we could do that draft over again, we probably wouldn't pick Jeff Okuda. But he's here. We have no choice in it. The boobs that were here in the last regime, Bob Quinn, Matt Patricia, they're not here. It's all about the coaches that he has here now, and the regime he has here now. And if Dan Campbell and Aubrey Pleasant and Aaron Glenn think they can get the most out of Jeff Okuda, I believe them. I totally believe them. We seen last year with AJ Parker, Jerry Jacobs, a bunch of misfit undrafted free agents, what the Detroit Lions defense was late last year. They held their own. That's a credit to Aaron Glenn. That's a credit to Aubrey Pleasant. And I'm excited to see what Aubrey Pleasant and Aaron Glenn can do with Jeff Okudah, because there's no doubt that Jeff Okudah has the talent to be a good cornerback in this league. It's, can he stay healthy? Can he play at a really good level? And is there a chance of him reaching that elite level? I mean, that's obviously a stretch because we haven't seen him play that much, but it'll be interesting to see what he does in 2022. With Owari on the other side, I think Owari just reached his best that he could do. I think he's going to be. I think he's going to get better. I really do. I think last year he kind of lucked into some picks in Amani. He lucked into some picks. There was picks that were tipped off wide receiver's hands, and he was there and he got the ball. That's very, very good. But I think one of the things that Amani is going to get better at is covering the wide receivers. Last year his QB rating was below 50%. That's really, really good when they're targeting you. I like these two corners. I specifically like Mike Hughes in the slot. I think this secondary could be better than people think. I really do. And if you're the Detroit Lions and you are, worried about the secondary, all I could say is one of the things that makes the secondary good. This is totally away from what Matt Patricia thinks, because Matt Patricia is a total dumbass. But one of the things that Matt Patricia didn't like was pressure, quarterback pressure, which I didn't understand, and I will never understand for the life of me, because that goes against everything you learn in football from Pee Wee to high school to college. Pressure wins. You look across the NFL, the teams that are the best, they get pressure on the quarterback. The Super Bowl champion last year, they had two good pass rushers in Von Miller and Aaron Donald. You look at across from them, Trey Hendrickson for the Bengals he was a madman. These are type of players that you need to become a better team. And I think what Jared Goff said about these guys gave me fits during training camp, I believe it. And I don't think Jared Goff is going to throw that out there. If you've listened to Jared Goff in the past, he doesn't just say stuff to say stuff. He's a very, very honest guy. I like what Jared Goff said. And I think that that's what the Detroit Lions are hoping for. I think that they're hoping for Jeff Okudah to take the next step in his progress. And I truly do think that the Detroit Lions are looking for Jeff Okudah to take the next step, because if Jeff Okudah is good, let's play a fantasy land for a minute. If Jeff Okudah is good, if Jared Goff is good, you can go into next year's draft with 2 first-round picks. Say we're taking the best linebacker off the board and we're taking the best defensive lineman off the board, period. And that makes your defense a hell of a lot better. So the best case scenario is that Jeff Okudah has a great year in 2022. Forget what the other people have told you. The best scenario is that Jeff Okudah is good. Amani doesn't take a big step back. He's going to need a contract next year, but we'll get to that when we get to it. And I think Mike Hughes in the slot is going to be huge. Then you're going to get Jerry Jacobs back after 4 weeks, and it's going to be a good secondary. I don't worry about Tracy Walker, Elliott. I think Elliott, he was going to be re-signed in Baltimore if they didn't go sign Marcus with him. So I'm not really worried about that. It's going to be interesting. But I think Jeff Okudah could be a guy that you look at and you go, I'm glad we gave him another shot, because this is a guy who's going to be coached by one of the elite defensive back coaches, who is his DC, and Aaron Glenn. We've seen what Aaron Glenn did with the New Orleans defense. They were a bottom defense in passing, and then they got Lattimore. They started to rise up the ranks. I think the same is true here in Detroit. I think Jeff Okudah, Amani, I think those are going to be 2 key players for the Detroit Lions in 2022. Let me know your comments below of what you think Jeff Okudah's ceiling is. What do you think Amani's ceiling is? And what do you expect of the secondary this year? And I'll get to your comments. I'll respond to your comments accordingly. Thank you for viewing Between the Whistles Detroit Lions edition.
Has a chance to be a real problem for some people, and certainly gave us issues, as well as Charles Harris and Brockers and Aleem and all those guys up front. Actually, really came along towards the end of training camp and really gave us issues.
Clip, and then you're going to get the clip, and I'm going to give you my input afterwards. But I'm going to play you the clip from Carson Anderson on 97 on the ticket right now.